Oh, echo. Well. Get started here in a few minutes. If anybody wants me to look at anything, just let me know. Got a list. We're going to run down the list. Pretty diverse list. It is a list of winners. It is a list of straight alpha, also beta. There's been a lot of great charts from people in the chat that have asked over several weeks. So always appreciate all suggestions, even though I may give you crap for what the chart looks like. Solana, oh man, how do you spell that? The thing with crypto right now is everything needs BTC to be bullish, and if BTC is not bullish, then nothing else will be bullish. So that's the stream, everybody. Thanks for coming. BTC is definitely not in bullish territory. What's up, Pharaoh? Audio is good. Okay, good. Solana. What I think people don't understand the beta part of alts, which I get. Okay, fine. If you just like the coin and what it stands for and the community and the memes, whatever, right? That's different than understanding the technicals that are not supportive of bullish action. Yeah, Pharaoh, I did ignore Tron. I'll continue to ignore Tron. I mainly ignored BNB as well. I mainly ignored Sol on the way up as well. Centralization risk, I ignored Ton as well. Centralization risk is real. So I don't like talking about coins that have a single point of failure or news surprises. I mean, look what happened with Pavel and Ton, whether or not you think it's a good or bad thing. I just don't want that risk, period. So I don't like talking about that stuff. And Tron is clearly all about Justin Sun. So there's that. All right, 201, boom. Boom, we got the hodl hat on. We are hodling. We're hodling. We're doing the thing. We're doing the charts. If you watch none of the rest of this, which is fine, just leave it on in the background, like most people. Just give me those metrics, those sweet view metrics. Give me a like or whatever. But if you don't watch any of the rest of this, just know that Q3 historically is a terrible time for BTC. What does that mean? What does seasonality mean? It means historically this is a bearish period. The why is less important. In reality, the why has to do with people being gone for the summer, vacations, money managers, institutional, retail. This is the same for NASDAQ. This is the same for S&P. This is the same across the board. Election year, non-election year. You can go on and on and on. You can look all around, okay? September is not good, historically. Now, does that mean it has to be negative? No. Does that mean it has to get worse than it is now? Also no. But I would level set your expectations here for September. If we're positive, if we're plus 1% in September, I will be elated, okay? But what you really don't want to do is lever up through Q3 into September, get all this size on going into September, and then get washed out in September, missing Q4. This is just BTC I'm speaking about here. Alts tend to be slightly delayed. So BTC is 3 months after gold. Typically, that's when we move, or typically 3 months after the euro as well. So to see euro strength here is great for BTC. To see gold strength here is great. Why is that happening? Because we're seeing dollar weakness. Okay, that's all good. But it's going to take time to find its way to BTC. And then it takes time to find its way to alts, especially anything out of the top three, forget about it. Okay, forget about it until probably the end of the year, certainly after the election, but maybe even into Q1. If you look historically, when alts have topped, it's always like a couple weeks or a month later or a couple months later. So this stuff takes time. It takes time. If you're buying anything right now, trend is not supportive of that based on trend metrics on the daily, let's say, and we can look at all that stuff. But yeah, so Q3 BTC not good. Q3 ETH not good. The second half of the year for ETH not great. It's all about the first half, and it's all about Q1. And again, you're seeing that beta, that like rolling hot ball of money going from less risk to more risk to more risk to more risk, and it makes its way into ETH around Q1. So I wouldn't expect ETH to do any better than it is into Q4, throughout Q4. You know, it needs, again, everything needs BTC to be strong. If BTC isn't strong, forget it. I don't care what your alt is called. I don't care if it's Tron or Ton or BNB or something on page 56 with a $1 million market cap. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. It won't have sustained bullishness that's worth trading for most people. So looking at the monthly returns, obviously everybody knows September, August also not great. It just is what it is, right? Look at the averages, look at history. Again, it doesn't mean just because we've never had a monsoon in September, aka like crazy God candle, doesn't mean it can't happen. Doesn't mean we can't have 35 hurricanes in September because we've never seen that before. But the odds and the probability are not on your side. Look at October. Why is October typically bullish? Well, everybody's coming back. That's the why. People are reallocating. People tend to get bullish towards the end of the year. And the math is because, well, Q3 is generally garbage. And so there's kind of only one direction to go. It's up. So October is the best year outside of February for BTC. And we can look at ETH. I don't know how many people actually care about ETH anymore. If I was an ETH maxi, I would just tune everything out and just hope for the best because none of the metrics look good. None of the metrics look good. For ETH, October is the second best month since 2016, aside from February. But look at February, March. Look at January. So in a perfect world, if you're a trader and don't have some tribalism about ETH versus BTC versus Solana, what do you care? You're hoping for this. You're hoping that BTC moves first, and then you're hoping that everything else lags, and you're hoping that the beta catches up. That's the reality, because then you get 3 trades instead of 1. You get to roll things around as we're hitting targets, as you're seeing weakness in BTC at 100K. Hopefully then we see strength in Solana past 200 or whatever, right? Whatever. But if you're being honest, that's what you want to see. That's what you want to see. Looking at the performance in cycle low, we are at day 647. And October would bring us into what, 671, 670 something, right? That's typically when we start to see things going again. Not crazy to think that October will be something similar. The only problem here, of course, is the election. Depending on the uncertainty leading into the election, that may also dampen volatility until after the election. And that's it, okay? Like, so you got, we've sat through 2 months of nothing, 6 months of nothing. What's another month? What's another 2 months? If by the election day and the following week we aren't higher than we are now, then we're probably in trouble. And there are already people who are positioned or believe that the cycle top is in. And that's fine. I'm not one of those people, but it's not like there's some slam dunk case here. Does everything look super turbo bullish? No, but it doesn't look completely like it's going to zero. You know, you can make a bull case and a bear case. This would be the maximum bull case. Nothing crazy, just a chart pattern to 300K. And gold already well on its way to its cup and handle target. This would not be crazy. So what do you not want to do here? You don't want to mess up. What percentage is this? Okay. You don't want to mess up plus or minus. We'll call it plus or minus 15%. Who cares? Who cares? You do not want to mess this up. You do not want to get chopped up. What you don't want to do is miss potentially, okay, a 200% move to the top, or let's go bearish case, a 40% move to the bottom on the downside, which would be like the 200. What's the 200 week? 200 weeks at like 20? No, that's not right. It's because it's on the 2-day. On the daily, it's at 38. Historically, we don't really live below the 200-day for a long time. So that's, to me, that's the support in my head. Here's the trade. You ready? This is the trade. You don't want to mess this up. Let's see what the let's see what the R&R is on this. And this is just the conservative. So the current R&R risk reward is 4 at the breakout. Okay, it's 6 at current prices, and that's the conservative. If we go non-conservative, it doubles, right? Okay, so who cares what's going on right now? It doesn't matter. You got to wait for confirmation. You got to wait for trend. We don't have any of that. This is allowed to look like junk. We're maintaining 60K somehow. I don't know how, but we're doing it. We're doing it. So it's going to take time still. And we talked about this for months. Other people have talked about this for months. Other people have talked about this for 6 months easily. So it's not like it's a surprise. The problem is people just get impatient and they assume, their alt's going to do better or whatever. It's just not the case. It needs BTC to be strong. Everything does in crypto land. Looking at bull market drawdowns, we are in 20% wheelhouse right now. The tough part about this chart is you don't really know when things are over. You just sort of know when we've got a tolerance for X% drawdown, so like 30%. If we're living below a 30% drawdown, typically that's it, right? That's for BTC. That means we're not going to recover. Now, we did recover in 21. That was a 50% drawdown, but it was short-lived. So any further mega drawdown, we don't want to see just hanging out at that level. That's not a great sign. But here we're 20% down at the moment. ETFs have done nothing in August, basically zero net flows. It's plus 89 million net, but realistically nothing. There's nothing going on here. On BTC, the ETF cost basis for BTC is 59, and that's right about where we are. This is going to get much more important. Even if we break to the downside, if we get crazy bearish, it's going to be interesting to see where this goes, where we stop on the way down. Do we stop at 50%? Do we stop at 20%? Like, what's the drawdown? We don't know yet, right? What's the tolerance for these people trading ETFs? Are they just going to eat it? What is their tolerance on the upside as well? What is the unrealized profit that they're going to sit in without rebalancing? And when does that rebalancing take place? This is all things to think about into Q4, but usually it's like a 2x multiple of 60, so 120. It's going to be interesting if we get to 100, and then at 120, do we start to see crazy resistance because everybody's going to be, on average, up 100% based on the cost basis currently. The cost basis is going to keep rising, but you get the point. Exactly. Lamucci, go touch grass or more fiat. ETH ETFs have done what anybody who was using their brain assumed was going to happen, which is not much. It's very hard to sell TradFi on crypto at all. It's very hard to sell them on BTC, but at least there's a clear digital gold narrative. For ETH, it is what? What's the narrative? I don't know. Most people would want, if they do want a crypto allocation, they're going to just stick with BTC and be done with it and forget about it, especially because these ETFs are not yielding. So you're just getting diluted by not staking. It's a bad deal all around how it's set up. And that just is what it is. But we've seen zero interest realistically, and it's just still negative on cumulative flows. That's just math. Okay, so nobody's here. You can see people saying, "Oh man, people are gonna pick up ETH like no tomorrow. Just you wait." But again, you need BTC bullish first. Okay, you need it first. Look at ETH BTC. For years, it's been down only. It's just cope from these people. Back to BTC, MVRV ratio. I'll put all the links to this stuff in the description of the video. It doesn't really signal a buy on the Z-score. One thing I was noticing, so last year, if we look back last year, this was last year. Just, it was worse than it is now, believe it or not, because we were below the 200 week. We'd just gotten back above the 200 week. We got crushed below the 200 week. This is August 31st. So this is tomorrow. A year behind today, whatever. A year ago. Now, this was pre-ETF approvals. Clearly, we had a catalyst. We had pre-halving. We had some stuff going on. But this was not, if you dial this back, this was not a bullish chart at all. It just wasn't on technicals, period. I don't care what anybody says at that time. Not only was it below the cloud, below the 200 week, we had this triple top potential. We had just broken down from the weekly B bands. The only thing we had on our side was slamming into the weekly cloud eventually, hopefully. But again, that was kind of hopium until we actually did that. So here, do we have anything? Do we have any catalyst? We can make stuff up. I can say Saylor still hasn't bought his 2 billion. He's probably been buying for the past couple weeks, if I had to guess. Dell, maybe. Options, maybe. Warehouses, maybe. I don't know, right? I don't know. You can go down the list. But there isn't anything super, super obvious that I'm seeing out there. And that's part of the reason why we're just doing nothing. There's no strong narrative for BTC right now either. Not yet. Not yet. Just in the near term. But we're hanging out above the weekly cloud. So we got that going for us. Trend is just not very strong. That's all. I mean, it kind of is what it is. One last thing on the network side. I'd noticed that hash ribbons, so this is a 30, 60, 90-day moving average on hash rate. When the hash ribbons cross bearish, we typically see prices that are more bearish because that typically means miners are selling if hash rate's coming off the network. And we may see that here as the 30, 60-day hash ribbons recross. And this would make a lot of sense because just the math behind profitability for miners right now is very, very poor. It's at or near all-time lows. You've also got miners turning hash rate off to do other stuff like AI related. So we may see this metric get jostled around. If we look just at hash rate's still up and to the right, but it has kind of plateaued here, at least in the meantime. And that may be price, that may be hash price, that may be AI, it could be a bunch of things. But in the near term, it's not like a strong increasing hash rate signal, which again makes sense. ASIC efficiencies have kind of maxed out. Some of that stuff's getting sent out to miners. Just a lot of churn going on the network. We did have PCE today on the macro side. PCE, again, the macro people, the bears, that confuse me because they're like, we're not there yet. They want to see a 2% print exactly or below for 6 months, I guess, before we start doing anything, bringing rates down. But this is about as good as you can want it to be, considering we're probably cutting rates in September. Now, ideally, we are living below 2%, but near 2%. I don't know. It looks decent to me. Again, do we want to slam this economy into the ground, or do we want to ease off the brakes a little bit as the metrics start to come in? So PCE looks good. All right. Let's go down the charts here. I don't have a lot of good news on the crypto side. That's why I've been focused on legacy. There's really not much to do on the crypto side. At this point for BTC, it would really take, this is like obvious, but it would take a move above 66. 69 would be more convincing. 72 would be more convincing. Any all-time high would be more convincing. We just have not been able to make a higher high, hold any highs. All highs have been sold aggressively. We've got one guy on Hyperliquid loading the boat. I don't know, right? The market's just getting moved around by very, very low liquidity. All the more reason to just ignore anything low time frame, bump it up. Go to the 2-day, go to the 3-day, go to the weekly. This is probably the best view, which is the 2-day cloud. We're in the cloud, we have a bearish TK cross. Until we're back above the cloud with a bullish TK cross, this says do nothing. Do absolutely nothing. If we go below the cloud with a bearish cloud, then that says jump out of your longs. That's it. It could take us into 2025 at this point. We could just stay sideways for a good long while. We just haven't been able to hold on to anything. But yeah, when you zoom out, like Joey's saying, we zoom out, we look good. Because again, you don't want to miss this stuff, which I know a ton of people did in Q4 last year on the BTC side. You don't want to miss a 2-day breakout for BTC. I think it's going to be hard to get a breakout on the 2-day above the cloud. That's not real, but of course that's possible. Again, that's why we want 66 up here. I've seen some people, if we go to a different chart, let's go to Kraken. Yeah, there's also this possibility where we make this inverted head and shoulders into November, right? Like, there are so many possibilities where we just do nothing for a good long while still. I just don't see any reason to act in a big way here. DCA, I love it. I love DCA to zero forever, to infinity. But on the leverage side, on the quick action side, I don't think there's anything to do. I talked about this downside possibility a couple weeks ago when we had this mega wick. But if this is bearish, it's 200-week moving average. I mean, that's where we're going. If I can turn this, there it is. 200-week moving average is down there, 38. We measure on fibs to 33 to 38. There's a yearly pivot at 34. There's tons of confluence down here. If we break down, this would be below the ETF open. There's lots of psychological stuff. Again, back to the ETF cost basis. How much pain are those people willing to eat? I don't know. We'll see. That's if we break down. Not my positioning currently is expecting us to break down. But we don't want to see anything below 54. Period. Like if we see a wick to 54, fine. But if we start drifting below these lows here, below 57, and we just like do this Germany drift like we did in June, that is a recipe for disaster. So sub 54 would be a shot across the bow for sure. I don't think I'm brave enough to want to buy anything down here for the 6th time. I'm not. I don't know if anybody in the chat is brave enough, but so yeah, I like DCA. I like super slow doing nothing for a long time throughout September. If you're going to DCA, not financial advice, but if you're going to DCA through September, I would just back weight that till the back half of September. There's even more seasonality for September where the last 2 weeks of September are even worse than the first 2 weeks. So I would just take your time. Take your time with it. Both cases, bullish and bearish, are on the table. It's just we need to find a direction. I don't see evidence for the bear case that's screaming at me until we start drifting below 54 again. Then I'm concerned for sure. But as we stand here, generally neutral, as choppy as this is. There's really nothing to do. And I'll look at the rest of this in a second. But if you get Bitcoin right, you're going to get everything else right. It's going to be hard to mess up anything else if you get Bitcoin right. On the CME chart is actually fully bearish using doubled legacy settings. Which, okay, it is what it is. To me, it always makes the next trade easier. I've said this a lot. Like once this flips fully bullish, then we know it's game on. But here, this does not say, oh man, what a great buy. No, there's nothing supportive of that. The death cross hasn't death crossed yet on legacy, but it's close. And that's probably something worth adding an alert for on the 5200 on Bitcoin CME futures, because let's see if I do this right. 5200 crossing, MA cross. Is that going to work? I think that works. Maybe not. Anyway, we got close to that in Q4. That's really what you want to see. You want to see all the trend metrics reset. You want to see RSI reset. RSI is at like 43, 44. Okay, great. Let everything reset. It's easier to go to 100 from here than it was at 74 the first time because we were so stretched. But we've reset all that momentum, reset everything. Everybody who wanted to sell has had plenty of ample opportunity to sell up here if they wanted to. But I would keep an eye on this one, just because it's a good gauge that gets the noise out of the equation for a real deal trend move, which we just haven't seen. Much like 2023, right? Like, what do we want to see? It's always the same. It's never different. Bullish DK cross, price above cloud, bullish cloud. We don't have that here. You just wait. That's it. So let's CME. Dominance. I don't know. Again, it's like, it's black or white. Is this bullish or bearish? So you can think what you want about altcoins or some community or some project or some protocol. Like, it just doesn't matter. Dominance is bullish, has been bullish for a very long time. And that's it. Okay. So again, it says, watch what BTC is doing. If you get that right, you're going to get alts right. Alts have been bullish, or sorry, BTC dominance has been bullish. BTC has been chopping around. people think they want to like snipe the top of dominance to snipe the bottom of alts. It just doesn't matter. Like alts move so much. Look at any of them. They move so much. If you wait 10, 15%, who cares? You're catching a 200% move, an 800% move. It just doesn't matter. It's easier to just wait for confirmation. BTC minus total 2. This was one that, if we look at historically, what do we want to see? We want to see BTC market cap greater than total 2. Let me just put this on a new scale. Do log. So once total 2 market cap is greater than BTC, that is a massive, massive, massive warning signal for risk in the ecosystem. And it just says there's a ton of risk on the junkiest of the junk. We saw that back here. We saw that for a good long while here. And we're nowhere close to that now. This is just a spot check in the cycle. And again, like what is the timing on these moves for alts? The timing is typically later than we are now into Q1. This was December. This was February, March, right? Like this isn't now. This isn't Q4. Q4 is really BTC time. So anyway, total 2 is still far below BTC, and that's what we want to see for the cycle. All right, ETH. I don't have great things to say about alts across the board, just because that's the trend metric, right? Like, what are we gonna discuss here on the daily? Nothing. It's below the cloud. It's got a death cross. What else is there to say? You can say, I think this is going to bounce here. Fine, I don't care, but this is not bullish. Okay, you should expect lower lows over higher highs. And end of the story. End of story. That's it. That's it. I don't care about RWA. I don't care about staking. I don't care about NFTs. It just doesn't matter. All right, so that's ETH. ETH BTC, man. ETH BTC is so bearish. It's unreal how bearish ETH BTC is. It's even more bearish than even I thought it would be. We talked about ETH unlocks. We talked about that taking a minute. But man, this chart looks horrendous. Again, people think if they don't bottom tick this, they're just going to miss everything. Like, wait until this is above the cloud. Go to the 2-day, go to the daily, go to the weekly 50, okay? The weekly 50 moving average. This is easy stuff. This isn't like brain surgery, okay? It's just, you just wait. We're so far away. I just don't get people. They just want to take on all this risk. They want to eat all this downside. I don't know. I don't know what goes through people's heads generally, but it's just not time. It's just not time for ETH BTC. It hasn't been for a very long while. We'll look at, I guess we'll look at Sol first. BNB looks fine. There's nothing going on here at the moment. There's this potential for an inverted head and shoulders. I'd set alerts for 595. I'll just do that now so I don't forget. 593, sure, whatever. Set an alert for that level if you want to trade this pair. But that's clearly the horizontal area that's going to be sensitive to the market. What you're probably going to see BNB above 600. You're probably going to see BTC back above 66. You're probably going to see Sol back above 180, maybe 200, all at the same time. Just because they're the highest market cap coins. But right now, Sol, again, like, it doesn't matter. This isn't a Sol versus ETH thing or a Sol versus BTC thing. It hasn't held any single high that it's had here for a very long time. It's still in the range, I'll give you that. But trend metrics just simply do not support a long at this point. That doesn't mean we won't go crazy lower here, or we will. It doesn't mean anything. It just means it's right there. Okay, we're in the cloud on the 3-day with a bearish TK cross. Until we're above with a bullish TK cross, like, just do nothing. Okay, it's that simple. I mean, not financial advice, but the daily's been chopped, so we go to the 2-day. 2-day also kind of choppy, but also not signaling bullishness. If anything, I'm kind of worried about this little head and shoulders action going on a high time frame. It's also still got this thing, which is a King's Castle head and shoulders. It cancels all that out instantly the moment it gets above 200, and not a penny before then. And that's it. So yeah, you could say, well, what about the cup and handle, Josh? What about the cup and handle? Yeah, it's there. And guess what? The breakout conditions are exactly the same. Get above 183 here. I'll set an alert. Boom. Should be able to. Yeah. 183, 184, 185, 200, whatever. It doesn't matter. Anything up there, and you'll know. Okay, here, this is a question mark. On the daily, the 5200 is about to cross bearish. Despite the death cross imminent. Is that a long signal here? No. Is that a short signal? I don't think so. But the next long signal will be like it was in Q4 last year. It's all the same. It's bullish TK cross, price above cloud, bullish 5200 cross. Again, this is like not, it's never different. It's always the same. It doesn't matter what year it is. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Welcome to technicals. Welcome to technical analysis. All right, so that's Sol BTC. I promise I'll read chat in a second. I'm just monologuing here. Sol BTC. Looked like it was going to lean more bullish, pulled back, still choppy, death crossy, imminent here, still above support-ish. Does any of that verbiage sound like bullishness to anybody? Because it's not. It's just, it's uncertainty. It's sideways, chop. It is not bullish continuation, slam dunk guaranteed. 003, what is this? Hold on. It's probably like 0035. I'm going to have so many alerts trigger one day, my trading view is going to crash. Like that's how it's going to be. Let's go 4 decimals. 0029. Boom. If we're above that level, if we're closing above that level, that's a very good sign for Sol relative to BTC. I'm assuming that happens Q1 if we see it. Sol ETH continues to look very bullish. It's making higher highs. It's making all-time highs. If I'm an ETH maxi seeing this chart, I'm a little worried. That Sol's kind of running away with it. But yeah, this is certainly more bullish than Sol BTC. And it's exactly what you want to see on ETH BTC that you're not seeing. This is completely different. All right. Let me read chat here. We talked about Sol. We talked about 3-day cloud for BTC. Yeah, you just want... You can set an alert for this on TradingView or Kraken. What do we want? We want the conversion line crossing... Where is it? 2030, there it is, crossing baseline, right? I think that's the name on TradingView. So the blue crossing the red on the 3-day. That's going to take, I don't know, weeks, 2 months, 60 days. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, I agree. So Blake, it's over forever, says Cosmo. I don't know about forever. Forever is a very long time. Is there a link between doing better now and the ones that will do better in the future? Not much is doing better now, just because somebody reminded me. Let's take a look at Tron. Tron has infinite risk because it is hyper centralized. But yeah, it's done well since May 2023. And really, what you want to look at is the Tron BTC chart. To me, okay, I'm definitely biased, so hope you're sitting down. But to me, this chart has gone nowhere since 2019. It has held in a pretty tight range since 2019. Recently, it has done well. It is starting to break out relative to BTC, but it is still below this level here, whatever this is. I'll just set an alert. Boom. It's still below the 2020 highs, the 2023 highs, the 2020 highs. Still below that level. It even had a decent case for a head and shoulders here that didn't go anywhere. So yes, has Tron been more bullish than ETH? Absolutely. I saw that chart making the rounds. But we already knew ETH is garbage. Like, yeah, pretty much anything is going to be ETH, right? Now it's Tron Sol. I haven't seen this chart. Let's make this on TradingView. We'll go that divided by Sol. Tron Sol also doing well. Triple bottom, ascending triangle into the cloud. Had a similar move back here, 2021 into 2022. IHS, triple bottom. I mean, that would trigger the Sol people. If Tron is like this runaway bull market, Sol is doing nothing. So yes, on a relative basis, Tron does well at certain periods of time. I would also watch this pair. How do you want to do this? 044. Let's just set an alert here. It's always interesting to see things potentially catch up at their relative value extremes. Let's just say this is an oscillator between this level and this level. Do we start to see people, or just the market in general, focusing on Sol, relative to Tron up here? I don't know. But this is a longable chart for sure. For sure. Absolutely. This looks like TLT on the daily. Like, this looks really good relative to Sol. It looks great relative to ETH. But again, there's that centralization risk that's infinite and forever. All right, link. And the rest of these charts are going to be quick because there's really nothing to say. They all have death crosses, I'm sure. They're all below the daily cloud, I'm sure. That's it. That's the ball game. So link, bearish, AVAX still in a bearish channel. And we can say, okay, where do we think this is going to go? It doesn't really matter, but sub 10, anything below the breakout of last year. Sub 10 is good on link. Sub 20 would be decent for AVAX, but all this stuff is bearish. Matic had a breakout for some unknown reason a couple days ago. All that has retraced. What on this chart has ever been bullish? This is Coinbase. Let's go to Binance. This is the risk. The risk is retracing this. Now, I think that's going to be hard to do. But I don't like this chart until we're back above like 130. That is a millennia away from where we are now. So no, not for me. LTC, also not for me. Although it is at a historic support level. I like strength over weakness. That's all. So not seeing any strength there. Dot on the 2-day also is just flirting with all-time low zone down there. Bearish channel below the cloud. No chart pattern to save you. Nothing near. Same thing, just below the cloud, bearish. Maybe that. I don't know. Not now. It's going to take, by mid-October, we'll know. If we're making lower lows everywhere, then yeah, it's probably over for Q4. But if we're not, then everything is going to look really good going into later in the year on the alt side. But that's probably going to be because BTC is pulled up quite a bit. Render, nothing. Not yet. Back above, we can set alerts at like 620. Because again, maybe you've got this inverted head and shoulders case, daily cloud edge to edge thing. I don't know, right? Like, but not yet. Depending on where you want to put this. Certainly not yet. FET, nope. Nothing, not yet. Ocean, nope. And on all the AI coin charts, you can kind of see this inverted head and shoulders potential. ADA. So it failed. It failed the tiny inverted head and shoulders. There's nothing here. It's not even chopping. It's just down. Just down chop, Down, 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 down. That's it. Weekly, bearish. Daily, bearish. I don't know. What else is there? ETC, bearish. INJ. Where's GOSP? GOSP, why aren't you buying this, bro? You are the bull god. Lots of bear channels on alts, for sure. So it's going to be easy mode when alts get back above their channels, back above the cloud. We're just not there yet. IMX also, a lot like Link, just doing a whole bunch of nothing below the cloud. Rune below the cloud. And again, some of these are going to like smash into the cloud here pretty soon. So we'll know, is this going to be like ADA where it just gets denied? Just, the price doesn't know where the cloud is, but magically we get denied there. Okay, whatever. But is it going to be like this? Or are we going to start to see some strength? I would rather wait for the strength than guess that this is the low. That's all I want to see is a higher high. That's it. So 155 throughout September would be good into October. A low of 120, just as an idea. Trying to shape this chart into something. Because right now it's a bunch of nothing. Rune, bunch of nothing. GRT, bunch of nothing. Filecoin, bunch of nothing. All these charts look the same. Algo, Flow. ENA. ENA looks tragically awful. Tragically awful. This is your brain on VC unlocks. Could it be the low? Sure, I don't know. But this does not look good for ENA. Velo, somebody asked me in the open to look at Velo. They said something about being above, not in the cloud, not yet in the cloud on the daily. Just chopping around. So is it surprising that all of the alt package is a whole lot of nothing with BTC being a whole lot of nothing? No, that's just the way it is. Doge, meme coin stuff also chopping around, nothing to report there. SHIB chopping around, and like, let's be honest here, if you want to min-max your gains, you want to see all this stuff just get rinsed to zero, and then you want to be there to pick up the pieces. The problem is people are sitting in this stuff as it's getting rinsed to zero, and SHIB is down 70% from the highs. But this clearly, it hasn't been bullish, doesn't look bullish. Pepe, certainly not bullish either. Whiff, still bearish, still chopping around. It doesn't matter if this is the low. You want this at $2, not at $1.50. You want this at $3, not $1.50. This could be a forever downward trap. You don't know. Floki, same thing. Bearish, bonk, bearish. There's just nothing. There's really nothing on the crypto side that looks remotely decent. BQ coming in here talking about taxes. Bro, we don't need that on top of everything else, okay? But yes, you're right. Taxes are due 10/15 in the US. I've tried to de-risk it. I must have gotten chopped up. At this point, we just hold until Q4. Yeah, Lucas, I don't think there's any reason to actively seek out trades right now. There hasn't been for a long time in crypto. Especially on the alt side. You'll be up or down 5 or 10% on any given day for any given reason. Right? Like, who wants to trade that? Not me. Definitely not me. October is a month, not a year. That's Joey. Everybody wants action. Yeah, well, the flip side to that, to me saying I don't want to touch any of this, is like, yeah, you could trade this on 10x. You could trade all this on 10x. Bring your time frame way down. Bring your size way down. And you're probably going to be just flipping a coin. And it's just a giant waste of time. So yeah, you could do that. I have never really had success doing that on low time frames. Thanks, Coop. If you have a mega long spot bag to hold for years, that was a great time to DCA ETH. Oh, he had me in the first half, not gonna lie. I was right there with him. Then he said ETH. I mean, the thing with ETH, like zooming way out, again, if you think this is a head or a cup and handle, I get bullish at 4,000. I don't get bullish as we go down sub 2,000. That's just not how this works. So we have yet to see strength here on ETH. It does not look great on the weekly cloud. It's not turbo bearish, but it's certainly less bullish than it had been. ETH just hasn't really had another run yet. I'm not saying it won't ever again, but this is why the ETH BTC chart is more important to pay attention to. Why take more risk when you don't have to? I mean, Ben Cowan, he's been right for how many months? I'm right there with him. I agree. This thing has looked like junk for a long time. $60K, giving out 6K vibes. Yeah, what do they say? The longer the base, the higher in space. Now, I would be even more bullish if we were, like, if we look like, hold on, if I pull up like gold. Gold is a great example because this thing just kept drawing continuation patterns on top of continuation patterns, kept getting back to the highs. The dips kept getting bought. Even up here, like, is this a rising wedge? Is it overbought? Yeah, probably. But even on low time frames, it just keeps drawing these inverted head and shoulders. It keeps retesting highs, retesting horizontal resistance. That's what you want to see. So to see us on the BTC side just kind of not making a higher high over and over and over, it's harder to get just blanketly bullish here until we start to see some strength. We're not asking for much here. Okay, 65, 66. Let's talk. Let's talk. I don't even know what this might be. I was thinking maybe, I don't know, diamond? Can this be a diamond bottom? I don't know. I don't know. Anyway. If we break down, is the cycle over? It's if the high for the cycle is in, sorry, um, and we break down, yeah, it could probably extends the cycle, but we also pulled everything forward. So it's tough to say. You know, what does over mean? Does over mean another 6 years of bear market? I don't think so. It's over for 2025, probably. You know, we'd probably need to consolidate and then get back to 60. Like we could, like you really want to get crazy with predictions? Like we can go, well, maybe we see this into 2026 and we just break all the liquidity rules. We break everything, every rule that's ever been ruled on BTC, and we don't do anything until like October 2025. You know, like maybe it's not. I don't think you can trade or think like that right now without confirmation. But sure, like look, anything's possible until we have some direction here. Monthly looks fine, says Roe Jogan. Monthly looks fine. Everything's fine. It could look better. It looks okay. I don't know about fine, but it looks okay. Pumping since we went live. Usually we, you know why? Do you know why we're pumping today? Because it's a Friday, not a Thursday. Almost always on Thursday we sell off. Going POS really destroyed ETH-BTC. I said this a long time ago, but there is not a single proof of stake coin that has been successful over a long period of time. Not a single one. So ETH saw that and was like, yes, give that to me. What is the risk with Sol? Sol has centralization risk less than Tron, less than Ton, less than BNB, more than ETH. It has regulatory risk, sure. All of DeFi has regulatory risk. All of staking protocols and RWA, everything that isn't vanilla token has regulatory risk. Risk with souls if it can stay running. Exactly. Like there is some centralization risk there, obviously. If you have a small account, how would you maximize gains for the next year? Dirk, I did a whole video on that. You should search the channel. There's a video on that. I would 50-50. DCA, this is not financial advice, okay? Not financial advice, Dirk. I would do this. This is what I would do. You ready? Call it the 50-50 portfolio. 50% DCA weekly. 50% lump sum, whatever you want to do. So like you could say on bearish days we buy, on negative 5% days we buy. You know, keep something that is other than just automatic buying. Have some sort of way to buy more, or just buy now. You could say, you know what, screw you, I'm just gonna buy a lump sum now. So now, you know, that's what my lump sum was gonna be. That's what I would do. Because that's literally what I did in the day, back in the day, you know, back before this chart existed on Coinbase. Anything about this cycle that stands out compared to previous ones? The biggest thing that stands out is that we are at all-time highs and sitting at all-time highs and hit all-time highs before halving. this post having nothingness is what we see every time. So it's not really a surprise. Is it more post having nothingness than we've seen? Yeah, that's fair. That's definitely fair. Usually we're moving by now, post halving, but not every cycle is the same, and we've never seen a all-time high pre-halving either. So it makes sense that we're just slowing down here. Coop has a list. Coop brought a list. Lost my pen. Adobe. He sees what I see on Adobe probably. I don't actually know the Cisco, so I'll have to look. You're talking IGV language here now. Bay? What is Bay? Airbus. What is UiPath? Rocket Lab is RKLB. GE Aerospace I also don't know. NYCB we'll look at. Another lower low. Low is in, says Gosp on INJ. Low is in. That's his financial advice, not mine. Slip likes Hack. I like Hack as well. We'll take a look at IGV. Hack and IGV look the same to me. Are you only talking leverage? Any problem? No, me personally, I've been holding spot, okay, over a decade. Do I care personally where price goes? No, I don't. My cost basis is absurdly low, okay? So, yeah, you have to believe in the fundamentals. Like, look, if you believe in ETH and Sol and what else is on this list? Ton, Matic. If you believe in that stuff, I'm not going to stop you. But BTC has proven to be different than most everything else on that list. Zeke and Monero ready to run hard. I should frame that. Zab. We can look at them. Looking like a doji day. Does all-time high before having shortened the cycle? I don't think so, Joey. Honestly, I don't think so. Zab, I talked about this a little bit in the open, but you will know when dominance is bearish. That's the thing. Like, nobody has to guess when dominance is bearish. Let's just do a little thought experiment. Daily cloud, hyper noisy on the way up. Okay, what about the 2-day cloud? 2-day cloud, perfect since 2023. If we are below the 2-day cloud, we are bullish alts on dominance. Okay, that's it. Okay, then we do nothing alts until, I'm saying if this is your portfolio rules, you do nothing until you're bearish on the 2-day cloud. We saw that in 2021. We saw it for a very long time in 2017 and 2018. There was another, I forget the old, is it like the 200-day moving average? If you want something simpler, just set an alert for the 200-day moving average on dominance. If price below that level, go buck wild and alts, baby. Load the boat. The 200-day has been a pretty good metric as well. You're not going to miss it if you're looking at the 200-day. If you're looking at the 200-day, just waiting, it's not going to be a surprise when alts are more bullish than BTC. So that's what I would do. All right, two quick these, and then we'll take a look at the rest of this list, because why not? Zcash, he said, what did he say? Hold on. Ready to run hard, he said. Ready to run hard. Well, it tried to break out. Why isn't this break? Tried to break out. Didn't go anywhere. Back to the breakout level. Doesn't look ready to run hard to me. Okay, but it has had a move where many alts have not. We'll put it like that. We'll put it like that. I wouldn't say it's ready to run hard, though. That's just me. I'm trying to find... Kraken released a desktop. Why can't I find that? I know it's here. Kraken Pro app. Did they put it somewhere that I don't know where it's at? Kraken released the desktop app. It is very good. If you're an active trader, even if you're not, here it is. If you're an active trader, even if you're not, if you want different metrics, better metrics, I would check it out. They have an open beta. It is completely modular. You can do very fun things with it. Very similar to Crypto Watch. Definitely worth taking a gander. I'll talk more about this when it becomes more public in the coming days here, but if you want to sign up for this, you can go to the link and join the waitlist. So yeah, definitely check that out. I'll put this in the description of the video. Okay. Zeke, Monero. No. Again, like, if you think privacy is a thing, that's fine. I'm not making fun of you, but technicals do not support anything for Monero here. You can pretty much just set an alert at 180 and forget about it. You'd want to see Monero above 180 to really care. All right, let's flip through some things on Legacy and then we'll get out of here. On the ETFs for BTC, IBIT is below the cloud. We have a full cloud now. We have enough data for IBIT. Not bullish. I'm not going to look at the rest of the ETFs because it's about the same. It should be pretty obvious when we're back above the cloud. Everything's bullish. It should be pretty obvious when we are back above whatever diagonal resistance. It's not going to be like some mystery when we're bullish again. BITO, this is futures, bearish. BitX, bearish. BITU, bearish. MSTR is drifting below the cloud, leaning bearish. This looks a lot like Solana, right? Like it could easily get bullish if it can get above 177, 175, 173. Anything up there is bullish. Anything here in the range is just chop, and anything below like 115, 100, then you're in trouble. MSTX is leveraged MSTR. And it doesn't look bullish on low time frames, but that's like ultra low time frame. No, this just got listed a couple days ago. No real trend on that yet. SMLR is the poor man's MSTR. Also going to be obvious when this is above 40, when this is above that cloud on the weekly. We're just not there yet. That's that. Coin looks a lot like MSTR, looks a lot like CleanSpark. It is on the wrong side of the cloud. It is on the wrong side of the consolidation. This looks more bearish to me than MSTR, less bearish than CleanSpark. You want this above 220. I cut some of this week. I had a CONL position that was down. I think it was down like 50%. Because I bought it up here and I didn't cut it like I should have. So anyway, this is also obviously not bullish. It doesn't matter if it bounces here. It's just clearly on trend, been bearish. Same thing with coin. It's on the wrong side of everything it needs to be above. It probably has a death cross. Okay, so death cross soon on coin. And if you're already in legacy land, why are you trading stuff that doesn't look obviously bullish when there's options for bullishness? in my opinion. Square also, much like SMLR, chopping around. Just nothing going on yet. Set an alert for 77. Just make sure I have an alert on that. Because probably going to continue chopping around. Hood looks fine. I don't really see an entry or an exit here. I don't really see anything. Just chop. New bank, new holdings, whatever you call it. This is that Brazilian fintech. It looks great. I don't know if there's an entry up here, but it's back at all-time highs, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, back at all-time highs. PayPal. Oh, baby. PayPal has broken out of the 3-day cloud. Looks great, looks fine. These are the types of charts that I like to trade. I like adding here. I like opening a position here. First time it's above the 3-day cloud in 3 years. Looks great. I don't care about the business. I don't care about the fundamentals. It looks great. Sorry. Peloton. Not yet. Had that big day, didn't go anywhere. Zoom, I'm just looking at these because they're similar. Zoom, might have to keep an eye on Zoom. It wouldn't make sense that Zoom has a bull run. It would make no sense, okay? But it's to the point down here where any of the sellers probably have been squeezed out by now. Any of the buyers have probably been squeezed out by now as far as capitulation. It's been down here for 2 years. Cloud getting ready on the 3-day. It looks okay. It looks better than most alts, I'll give you that. Not quite looking bullish yet, but it looks decently okay. Looks decently okay. There's a guy named Reddit in here. I'll get to SPX in a second. I'm just shocked. I'm shocked Zoom is above the cloud. That's all. I just need a second. Sorry. Okay. WGMI, minor ETF. This thing is very volatile, and it's on the wrong side of bullish, or it's on the wrong side of the cloud. So it's just not bullish, but it's also been very choppy. Most of the miners look like this. No trend, super chop. Also somehow over time moving higher. So it's tough. Your guess is as good as mine if this stuff moves higher collectively, but individually I think it's a little bit easier to see. Marathon, it's doing nothing. It's done nothing for a long time. Clean Spark looks like Garbo, unfortunately for me. Riot also making new lower lows here. And all of these they need BTC to be bullish, obviously. They've got AI components and HPC and data center, whatever, sure. But none of these are like screaming anything to me. If we go back on IREN, where we clearly had some sort of horizontal resistance, we were testing, we were above the cloud, as an entry, that makes a lot more sense than anything here. Cores looks okay to me if it can make higher highs. It doesn't look horrible. It's probably trading more based on the AI side of things than the BTC side of things. So I should probably I'll set an alert for like 1050. I don't want to sit in this at 10 or below. I want to wait till there's momentum there. Cypher, just nothing. Now this thing has been a chop fest, to be clear, for years, but you don't want to see this chopping lower. You don't want to see this continually chopping lower after it spent 6 months consolidating at higher, making higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. That's just not a good look. So that's also bearish. Bit farms, just chop, bearish chop. Hut. Okay, so we got maybe a right shoulder here. You probably want to catch this back at 1450. Assuming it can get up there. But not here. This is not, for me, not a buy for me. Hive, down chop. Wolf looks okay. You know, it's like, what are you going to say here? It's not above the cloud yet. It needs time. If I had to pick like one or two, Wolf certainly looks better than most. Core's definitely better than most. SDIG, junk, you know, just nothing. Gree, nothing. Didn't SDIG get acquired or something, right? They're going to be, yeah, they got acquired. BT, chop. You want this above 470. Canaan, massive downward channel chop. Fufu, this is a newly listed one. Honestly, maybe there's a play there. Maybe there's a play for Fufu. Maybe there's a play into next week for Fufu. I just think the name is funny. Fufu. Am I in Europe? I am not. If you're in Europe, I do not know how to access any of this stuff, to be honest. No clue. But for Fufu, this might be a chart I can get behind. You probably want to see this thing. Let's just set an alert at like 480, 481, something like that. All right, that's Fufu. Legacy indices. I'm mostly seeing people who are super bearish. Are we overbought? Yes. Have we stalled? Yes. Are we bearish? No, we're not bearish. Not yet. It would be very hilarious to me if this ends up being a massive inverted head and shoulders on everything. And it just goes higher anyway. That would just be hilarious to me because so many people are like, oh man, rate cuts are bearish. It's a recession. It's all over. Right. So it would just be super funny to me if this just said, nope, don't care, moving higher. I don't have conviction on that, but it's not bearish. I wouldn't even call this a double top. You can't really call this a double top until it's back below 5,300. So what is there to be bearish about here? I don't know. It stalled out. It had a huge V bottom bounce. It could look worse. It could look worse. Qs do look worse. In the cloud, not yet bullish. But again, this could be an inverted head and shoulders here. Neckline at like 480, something like that. So is it bearish? Not really. It's more neutral than bearish to me. IWM, kind of a slow-moving dumpster fire continuously. It's moving up. Is it a strong trend? Not really. DJI, I think this is an all-time high for DJI, right? Yeah. Does anybody trade DJI? I don't actually know. It has this cup and handle thing. This is why, back to like, why is he pointing out all these horizontal breakout levels that we're close to or not close to? Well, this is why, because you don't want to miss that right there. You don't want to miss that. Because that's easy mode. You just sit in this thing and you wait. SMH, same thing. SMH was the same exact thing, and we got a little head and shoulders forming on SMH up here, but we definitely talked about this in 2023 on SMH, cup and handle. That's easy mode. Up here is not easy mode. Up here is we're plus or minus 25% on any given week. It just, what is there to do, you know? The move is done. You missed it. Trade something else. Not financial advice. Sorry, just reading. Zoom is like the Zcash of legacy. I agree, Zabs, but I'd still rather trade Zoom than Zcash. Still rather trade Zoom than Zcash. All right, leverage stuff, TNA. I still like TNA. It's leveraged IWM. Even though I hate IWM as a chart, this chart looks a lot cleaner to me. Fees on this stuff are very high, so you gotta be careful sitting in this, but I like TNA. Yeah, looks good. LabU, same thing. LabU is right there. Diagonal resistance, horizontal resistance. This is Biotech 3X. Looks pretty good to me. Looks pretty good to me. DXY, I said on a video, probably Sunday, something about a bounce around 100 because we had moved down so quickly. So far we've seen that. This is still bearish. That doesn't change anything. It's just, look at the move from 106 to 100. It was straight down. Like, yeah, we're going to have some bounce at a 2-year support level. But the direction of this should continue to move lower. UJ, maybe an Adam and Eve? Way too early to tell. Nothing really to do there. Euro pulling back. Obviously, dollar is strong, but Euro still on the bullish side of the weekly cloud. That's what we want to see. If we are bullish, BTC, TLT pulling back a little bit. Still looks great to me. One of the better looking charts out there. Period. Regardless of what this is. Long-term US bonds. Chart looks really good. Ag looks very good. Shy looks great. These are all bonds, ETFs of various duration. Junk bond ETF looks fine, looks great. It's making highs. This is what we want to see if we're bullish BTC. We want to see signs of liquidity. We want to see signs of risk. That's great. TYD leveraged 10-year ETF also looks okay. TMF. It shouldn't be a surprise that I like charts that look like this. They all kind of look the same. Starting to break out, trying to break out. This is leveraged 20-year. So yeah, I am trading this stuff over crypto. Crypto, there's not much to do. Mag 7, let's find you. NVIDIA, so much like the S&P, I think there's a very real possibility that NVIDIA has this inverted head and shoulders thing. And if you're trading NVIDIA, we get back to 126 and it's probably game on. I don't know if we do, but if we do, then it's game on. We had earnings, guidance disappointed, apparently, even though earnings were great. Beat got smaller. I see Joey also likes TNA. But as a pattern, doesn't look bad. Doesn't look bad. We also had a similar thing back here, March, April, May, into June. This may even wait until like October. So we may go sideways into October on NVIDIA. But I would definitely keep an eye on this if you are trading semis at all, obviously. SMCI, I was bullish on this up here. We broke down. I stopped myself out. Thank you for that, self. And nothing good happens below the cloud. Nothing good happens below the 200-day moving average. Nothing good usually happens with a death cross. And SMCI has all those things, plus a short report, plus a delayed financial filing. It's got all sorts of problems. So this is a massive avoid for me. Dell pulled back after that parabolic move. On the daily, it looks okay. It's still not bullish cloud. But if you contrast this with like AMD, I don't know. None of those look great. Anyway, Apple, the chart's just not for me. We talked about this at 184. Bullish daily cloud breakout. That's why no matter what it looks like, you just always listen to the cloud if you trust the cloud. But up here, there's a bullish TK cross, price above cloud. Do I believe it? Not necessarily, but that's there. That's there. I think I'm just a hater. I'm too biased. But I don't know. I don't see a trade on Apple, personally. If we contrast that with Costco, where are you at? Costco. This also has a bullish TK cross, price above cloud. That is a long re-entry signal. Do I believe it? I don't know, but the cloud gives it its blessing. The cloud is going to continuously pull you in, pull you in, pull you in, regardless of where price goes. But yeah, that's a long entry signal for Costco, for sure. All right, back to these. Microsoft. Microsoft kind of has a head and shoulders, doesn't it? Like it kind of looks like this. Now it could like chop around for another 16 months. I don't know, but it doesn't look amazing here. It doesn't look amazing. Just no trade until it's back above 427. I like alerts there. Amazon, good little bounce today. Also, just nothing to do there. And Amazon, Meta, still the best looking of the Mag 7, hands down. Ascending triangle all day. I'm sure there's some like leveraged Meta ETF you can play around with. Google, no. Better stuff to trade than that. Netflix has just been a mystery to me. Just up only forever since the low. I don't know. Looks fine. Nothing really to say there. Tesla, much like Nvidia, it has this inverted head and shoulders thing. And it may... Just moving my alerts around. It may play out before Nvidia's plays out. So I'd watch Tesla as well. Lucid, this is one somebody mentioned a long time ago because of the cloud breakout in July, and actually looks okay. I mean, the company's a dumpster fire. It held the highs. It's back at the highs. Looks okay. Looks okay. If you go to like the 3-day cloud, it's clearly a change of character on the bottom there. So you just got to be careful of bankruptcy, I guess, right? But it looks okay. KWeb, I'm still sitting in this one for some reason. Chinese internet ETF doesn't look great. I like it better at 30. It's like Square, it's just done nothing for a long time. Toast, just hanging out there at highs, not really anything to speak of just yet. Intel, big bounce. W, company's a dumpster fire. No real technical reason to be fooling around in this that I can see. Maybe you justify it by saying, oh man, this gap is going to fill, guys. This huge gap to 30. Not for me. Uber also looks great up here at the cloud. Bullish DK cross, bullish cloud. Looks real good. Looks real good. So all of these, as bad as even Google looked, still looks better than most altcoins, for sure. IGV, the software ETF, briefly flirted with a new high, almost. Still looks decent. Now it's chopped, but if you zoom out, it's got a similar to SMH cup and handle. Not something you want to miss above 89, most likely. It looks okay. Looks okay. Just reading chat. We've fleshed out all of the altcoin people, so now I can really talk about the altcoin alpha. I'm kidding. I don't have any. Okay. Pfizer looks okay. Just chopping around there at the bottom. Really nothing to say. Merck, chop. Stellantis, chop. Ugly chart. Stellantis. Roblox. This one I took a trade on last week. Still at the highs, looks great. Looks better than 99.9% of alts right now. I don't know. We're seeing where it takes us. Have a good weekend, Michael. Newegg. This is one somebody asked about a long time ago. Not anything here, but I like alerts on that horizontal. Unless this company just gets bought out. Maybe they are an M&A target. I don't know. But no strength whatsoever on Newegg. Commodities, real quick. Gold we talked about, and I don't see a trade here. Honestly, it's just it's got high time frame targets, low time frame targets. Probably keeps going, but not really a strong entry up here. Silver looks like junk. I don't know why people bother. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine with silver. Oil had some bearish supply news today, and it looks like it's ready to break down. I don't know. Not something I'd want to sit in to the long side. XLE holding highs, really done nothing since March. Just nothing. Banks, I don't think there's anything to speak of here either. KRE's bullish on the weekly. Does anybody want to touch regional banks? I don't think so. Just an ugly, choppy mess of a chart. Somebody was asking about New York Community Bank. Still chopping around, but looks decent. Hasn't broken out yet, though. Hasn't broken out yet. A few others real quick. Adobe. Adobe looks okay. It's either a diamond top or a cup and handle. I don't know. It doesn't look terrible. Doesn't look terrible. I don't know. It's not like a great setup, but that's why I just like IGV over these individual names. That way I don't have to guess which one looks better than the rest. Cisco, just nothing for years. Years and years and years and years and years. You want this like above 52, but it's done nothing for a long time. PANW looks great. Continuous highs. Looks really good. Probably looks like Palantir. Palantir probably the same if I had to guess. Yeah, it's back at highs. Looks good. Overbought, I guess, but not like dangerously overbought. Looks pretty good. Probably this. Oh man. Bridger Aerospace Holdings. What is this? All-time lows, whatever that is. Not something I'd want to fool around with. Boeing. Also, not something to touch here. IMHO, just chopping sideways, nothing. Rocket Lab. Rocket Lab. Doesn't look bad. Doesn't look bad. Looks better than most charts. What about this UFO ETF? There you go. 3-day break. Look at this huge diagonal that this thing had. 3-day breakout. Doesn't look bad on like high risk. If you're looking for stuff out that's to trade that's not an altcoin, this is fine, you know, right? TNA, TYD, TMF, UFO, TLT. There's lots of stuff that is not alts that looks decent. Yeah, RKLB looks good. No, LTC is not for me. Sorry. I think that's it. Hack is probably the last one. Then we'll get out of here. Hack looks great. I love anything breaking highs, making highs, taking highs, getting high. It all looks good. Why? So like somebody just brought up LTC, so we'll take a look. But this is what you want to play around with, not LTC. LTC is it looks like oil, you know, it looks like maybe a huge Head and Shoulders. Do you really want to be playing around here at resistance or support? I don't. Now, this probably won't break down if you're bullish BTC, blah, 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 right? They should all follow. But man, that is an ugly chart. All right, we'll get out of here early today. I got nothing. Have a good Labor Day. Have a good setup Sunday. We'll be back. Usual videos, usual time. Same place, same channel. Give me a like, dislike, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And don't get chopped up in the chop. Stay out of the chop. Do anything but get chopped up. Take care, everyone. See you next time.